So warm welcome to all of you. Today we are going to learn about a new concept, hypothesis formulation. As we know, the importance of hypothesis formulation after the formulation of problem identification, followed by the review of literature and the objectives of the study, formulation of statement of the problem. The next important concept is the hypothesis formulation. So every research will starts with the formulation of hypothesis. Unless otherwise, when we do not formulate the hypothesis of the research, we cannot conduct any kind of research. So the research will starts with the formulation of hypothesis. So what exactly the hypothesis? The hypothesis is a tentative assumption statement. In fact, it is not a true statement. It is a tentative assumption statement or temporary assumption statement for starting our research. We will try to formulate an hypothesis, right? So hypothesis is a tentative assumption statement, right? So what are the various types of hypothesis will come into the picture? Majorly, there are two different types of hypothesis will come into the picture. The first one, the null hypothesis, and the second one, alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis will tell us about the mean differences is equal to 0. That tells that there is no significant difference between A and B variables. So this tells that the mean difference is equal to 0. Suppose there is no significant difference between the location of the respondents with respect to communication skills. Here my intention is there may be a possibility of the dependency between the location of the respondents with respect to communication skills. Suppose if students come from rural area, he may have a poor communication skills at English. If the same students may come from urban area, he may have a good communication skills. You know, this assumption may right or wrong, that we don't know, right? To test this particular assumption, we will try to formulate the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis will tell you there is no significant relationship between location of the respondents, that is urban, semi-urban, rural, with respect to communication skills. Suppose if there is no relationship between these two things, in the sense, if null hypothesis accepted, right, that is what we call the concept of null hypothesis. Then what is the concept of alternative hypothesis? In the sense, the alternative hypothesis will tell us about the mean differences are not equal to 0. The mean differences are not equal to 0 in the sense, it may be mu greater than mu naught or mu less than mu naught. In first case, the null hypothesis mu equal to mu naught. The alternative hypothesis will tell you the mean differences is not equal to 0. That this tells that it may be a greater than relationship or it may be a less than relationship. So the alternative hypothesis will tell you, right, it may shows a greater than relationship or less than relationship, right? So the alternative hypothesis will tell us about what there is a significant relationship between location of the respondents with respect to communication skills. Again, this relationship may be positive or negative. There is a significant positive relationship between location of the respondents with respect to communication skills, or there is a significant negative relationship between location of the respondents with respect to communication skills. So anything may happen over here. It may be a positive relationship or it may be a negative relationship. So that is what the concept of the alternative hypothesis. The main difference will tell us about it may be a greater than zero relationship or it may be a less than zero relationship. So as we discussed earlier, so every research will start with the formulation of hypothesis. It can be a null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. Later on, we will try to conduct a research by taking the help of descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. We will try to apply various types of statistical tools on our analysis. And finally, we are going to calculate a test statistics. We are going to calculate a test statistics. We are going to calculate a test statistics. That is what we call the Z calculated value. That is what we call the Z calculated value. Here we are trying to test if Z calculated value is greater than Z tabulated value, right? We are rejecting null hypothesis. We are going to accept the alternative hypothesis. If Z calculated value is less than the Z tabulated value, we are trying to accept the null hypothesis. We are rejecting the alternative hypothesis. Here, at the end, the comparison will happen between the two different phenomena. The first one, Z calculated value and Z tabulated value. If Z calculated value, the less than the Z tabulated value, we accept the null hypothesis. When you're trying to accept the null hypothesis, that tells that you're trying to reject the alternative hypothesis. And if Z calculated value is greater than the Z tabulated value in the sense, then we are trying to reject the null hypothesis and we are trying to accept the alternative hypothesis. Means there is a significant difference. There is a significant difference between the two different variables. Now here, the significance level will be tested at two different levels. That's what we call confidence levels, at 95% or 99%. At 95% confidence level or at 99% confidence level. That tells that a 5% or at 1%. So 95% confidence level or 99% confidence level. So this is what the concept related to the hypothesis formulation. So every research will starts with the formulation of hypothesis. The hypothesis is a tentatively assumption statement. We will formulate a hypothesis because of it is a route map of the research. Unless otherwise, when we do not formulate a hypothesis, we cannot conduct any sort of research. The types of hypothesis majorly classified into two types: the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis will tell us about there is no significant relationship between A and B variable. The alternative hypothesis will speaks about there is a significant relationship between A and B variable. This significant relationship may be positive relationship and negative relationship. This will be tested at 95% level of confidence interval or the 99% level of confidence interval. Here we are trying to compare the test statistics with the Z calculated value with the Z tabulated value, either at 5% level of significance or at 1% level of significance. So 5% level of significance will tell us about I'm confident enough for 95% of the solution, and I will try to allow the type 1 error at 5% level of possibilities. Whereas at 99% confidence interval will tell us about I'm confident enough in the solution at 99% of times I will try to allow to happen type 1 error of at 1%. That is what we call 95% confidence level interval and 99% confidence level interval. So this is what the concept of a hypothesis. I hope you understand this.